So I was at Fantasia Festival in Montreal, and it was pretty cool. I actually made the trip for different reasons, but found out that the festival was conveniently taking place while I was there. So I only got to see a couple movies, but it was a lot of fun, so I might try to do it again next year. One of the films I saw was Under the Silver Lake. I had already seen the film at Cannes Film Festival, but I enjoyed it enough that I wanted to see it again for a second time. Apparently there's some rumor going around that they're recutting the film, but I didn't notice any difference, so I guess that's not the case. Hopefully that doesn't happen before it gets a wider distribution. It's a great movie, so check it out whenever you can. The only other film that I saw when I was there was one called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. Pretty promising title if you ask me. The only reason I even know about this movie is because the poster somehow got upvoted to the front page of the movies subreddit. At first I thought it might be because it's a parody of The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, but then I realized that it's not, so I got very confused as to why anyone was even talking about it. This is the director's first feature film. There wasn't any promotional or trailer footage available. I guess it was all just because of the title, which, to be fair, made me kind of interested in seeing it. After all, you'd have to assume that the only real way this movie could ever possibly work is if it's some sort of campy, cheesy, self-aware comedy, and I tend to like those kind of things, so I was moderately excited for this despite not knowing anything about it. But unfortunately, the biggest issue with this movie is that it takes itself way too seriously. There are sparse moments scattered within the film that appear to be self-aware, but most of the film is just a really straightforward, boring attempt at a drama. And don't get me wrong, this film still could have been good with that as the goal, but it wasn't even the least bit competent at anything that it attempted. All of the performances sucked aside from Sam Elliott's, and even then it wasn't anything to call home about. The filmmaking was completely amateur and there weren't any kind of interesting shots. And on top of all that, the movie was slow as shit. Every single scene takes so fucking long to get its point across. They keep repeating the same shit over and over, which might have been fine if the movie were more tongue-in-cheek, but it wasn't. I don't even know what this movie was trying to be. There are so many flashback sequences that go on for what feels like forever. You know, sometimes in movies where a character is retelling an event and shots play over their narration, the character narrating the scene explains what happened, but the characters within the scene don't have any dialogue. They interact with each other without dialogue in kind of a dramatized way while the narrator explains what's happening. There were scenes in this movie that felt like they were attempting that sort of thing, but not only was there no narration going over top of it, but they went on for fucking forever. So you get these long-ass, unimportant flashback scenes where characters aren't saying anything to each other even though it seems as though they should be, and we still get all of the audio from the scene taking place, like they recorded Foley, and sometimes they make a noise like, They're clearly interacting with each other in a way that justifies some sort of dialogue. They're pointing at things, they're handing each other things, they're clearly doing things, but it's like the script wrote actions for them while forgetting to write dialogue. Again, something that might be able to work if it were presented in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, but it was so straightforward and boring, and most of these flashbacks don't help us understand anything. We already saw him about to kill Hitler at the very beginning of the movie. Why do we need these long and pointless scenes of random nonsense that apparently takes place before that? You're not teaching us anything new about the characters or the situation. It's all just pointless garbage. I feel like most of the movie was just flashbacks. Sam Elliott's supposedly the star of the film, but I feel like the actor that played the younger version of his character in the flashbacks actually got more screen time. One of the recurring flashbacks was this forced-in love interest subplot, and once again, it adds nothing to the movie. It's just painfully boring. They spend so much time on things that aren't interesting and don't matter. And then when we actually get to the Bigfoot part of the movie, it just starts with him already finding Bigfoot. You said he was hired to kill the Bigfoot because of his tracking skills. Why don't you show us any of it? I kind of wanted to see how he found the Bigfoot. Why did you spend so little time on the parts of the film that people want to see, and so much time on useless bullshit? The title of the movie is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, not pointless dramatic romance subplot. Anyways, you can probably tell I did not like this movie very much. I never once thought that I could possibly watch a film called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot and still be disappointed. The only thing that didn't completely suck about this movie was Sam Elliott's performance, so at least there's that, I guess. What an absolute waste of a title and and an absolute waste of a film. And I'm giving this one a 2 out of 10.